So there was a time in my single motherhood journey, actually pretty early in my single motherhood journey, where I ended up falling into a multi-year depression and got to the point where I stopped showering, stopped washing my clothes. I would wear the same clothes over and over again. Like literally, I had the exact same sweatpants that I wore just about every day, to the point where the elastic on the waistband got so stretched out because I wore them every day that they started to fall off of me because they no longer fit right because the elastic was so stretched out. And so what I would do is when I would get undressed for the evening, I would throw those sweatpants, whatever sweatshirt I had, onto the floor, put on my pajamas, and then the next morning I would reach on the floor, grab those exact same sweatpants and that exact same sweatshirt, and would literally wear it over and over and over again, right? To the point where it actually got pretty bad because since I wasn't showering and wasn't washing my hair, like my hair would get super, super itchy. And my kids were probably like around 2 or so, but they were old enough to say, "Mommy, you smell." And so that was my cue to take a shower. And that was what I would do, is when my kids told me that I'd smelled, I would take a shower. And then that cycle would repeat over and over and over again. And this happened for like a year or two. And so finally I got to the point where I said, you know what? I'm tired of stinking. Like, I'm tired of wearing the same clothes every day, but I don't know what to do. So like in my mind, I knew something was wrong. Like in my mind, I knew that was strange. That was not normal. Like I should not be not showering, walking around stinky, wearing the same stinky clothes all over again, because because I wasn't showering, like my clothes started to stink, right? And so I knew that something was wrong. And so I remember I reached out to a friend of mine, and I was just like, you know what, who's also a single mom. And so, but she actually, was thriving in her single motherhood journey. And so I remember reaching out to her, like, because she was somebody I looked up to, which is important, right? Like if you're feeling inadequate, if you're feeling like in a space where you just can't move forward, it's really important to be able to see people and see examples of how you can be. Not to be able to treat them like an idol, but something to let you know that something different than your current situation is possible. And that's what I did with her. I looked up to her and I reached out to her, and I was just like, you know what? This is a dilemma. Like, I want to shower. I don't feel like I have time, because at that particular point in time, I did not have the revelation that I was actually going through depression. I did not have the revelation that something was wrong. I just thought that I was too busy. I was just like, you know what? I'm a single mom. I got 2 toddlers running around, running a business, so just busy, and I want to be able to sleep, so I just don't have time to shower, right? And so that's the thing that I kept telling myself. The reason why I couldn't shower is I was just too busy. I had too much going on. And so what ended up happening, I was talking to her, and in this conversation, she says, you know what? She would like throw out different ways for me to be able to shower, something to be able to solve that problem that I was having. And everything that she said, every single suggestion that she said, I had a reason for why that wouldn't work. And so I remember she stopped mid-conversation and said, you know what? It's not that you don't have time to shower, it's that you don't want to. She said, and then she told me something powerful. She said that she actually had a friend who went through the same, and she actually had somebody that she knows who went through the same thing. And what happened was she realized that she was depressed. And so she was just like, you know what? You really need to examine whether you just are not able to for time, or whether something else is going on, and what's going on is emotional. And so that was the revelation and the honesty that I needed, because at that point I realized that what I was going through was not physical, right? I mean, was not time, was not related to time. What was happening was emotional, and it was emotional, and I hadn't even known it yet, right? And so the revelation that I got was, as I sat down and really thought about it, because I was like, how is this possible? Like, I just thought that I didn't have time to shower. Like, I just thought that I was stinking because I was just too busy, right? And so when I sat back and really thought about it, I realized that I did not believe that I deserved to be clean. because of, you know, their dad walked out. And so I figured that if he rejected me, I was in this place of like proving myself as a single mom. I felt like if he rejected me, there must have been something wrong with me. And to me, really in a deceptive way that I didn't even see coming, I thought that I did not deserve to be clean. I thought that I needed to live out my pain in order for it to be real. And I felt like in order to clean myself up meant that that pain and that hurt was not real. And so it was strange the way it really worked out. And so what happened was, and so recently I ended up posting this, that this revelation that I got recently is that we can be afraid to live healed. The pain can become comfortable, normal, and at times a part of our identity. And what we need to do is admit the fear of healing, ask God to help you heal, and so yes, I'm going to go through this next part in a second, so I don't want to jump ahead, but we can be afraid to live healed. The pain can become comfortable, normal, and at times a part of our identity. And so I remember when I first changed Effing Phenomenal from a blog that was about financial management for single women to financial management for single moms. I really did it from a place of proving, to be able to prove to society and to prove to those, you know, those them, like those people, right? You know, that I mattered as a single mom. It was my way of trying to establish my identity and to be able to heal the brokenness, but it came from a place of proving. It came from a place of, I want people to love me. I felt so rejected. I just wanted to be loved. I just wanted to feel like I mattered, because for so long I didn't, right? And so it wasn't until that I realized that my pain was coming through and me feeling like I did not deserve to be clean, to it was impacting my business, to my business was coming from a place of pain, my blog was coming from a place of pain, and I was projecting that pain and trying to overcompensate in my blog to feel like I was loved, that I mattered. And so one of the biggest places of healing came for me when I admitted that I hurt. I admitted that there was pain. And the resistance to the showering was me being afraid to live healed, because I had lived broken for so long. And so I remember I recorded a video about some of the things that I learned when I fell and I hurt my arm. And so I talked about how sometimes we can be afraid of the pain to get back up, that we end up laying down. And even though that laying down is actually uncomfortable, that laying down actually hurts, but the process to get back up can hurt as well. And so sometimes we can get so comfortable in the pain that we're used to, the pain that is familiar, the pain that almost seems like a comfort blanket, and we don't know who we are. We don't know how we're going to live without that crutch of pain. Because if you think about it with a surgeon, right? I remember hearing this analogy a long time ago. With a surgeon, in order to heal what is wrong, the surgeon has to cut open the area that needs to be operated on. And that requires pain. And so sometimes we have to push through the pain in order to get through the healing on the other side. But if we get so used to the pain that we become afraid to be healed, we can become afraid of the process that it takes to be healed, and we end up staying stuck for far longer than we need to. And sometimes also, I mean, to be honest, if you're getting sympathy and attention from the pain, sometimes it can be hard to let that go, because where is the attention going to come from? Especially if you're someone like me who had lived broken, right? And who was dealing with rejection. I wanted attention because I wanted to feel like I mattered. And so without that area to complain about, who am I? Who's going to listen to me? Who's going to help me? But we have to be able to trust that the healed version of ourselves is better than the broken version that we're living right now, because our kids deserve better. Because if our kids don't see a healed version of us, how are they going to know how to walk in their power and authority and walk in the fullness of who God created them to be? And so we have to be able to acknowledge the hurt. We have to be able to acknowledge the fact that that pain is not who we are. That hurt does not define us. And we need to be able to go to God and say, you know what? Help me. Help me to get over the fear of living healed. Help me to be able to get over the pain. Help me to be able to walk in a new identity. Help me, Lord. Heal me, Lord. Clean me up, Lord, so I can walk new in the promise that you have given me. Because what happens is when we walk in this place of hurt and pain, we're not walking in our God-given authority, and we can miss our destiny because we're too busy nursing the wounds of the past instead of moving forward in power and walking forward in our destiny. And then one of the other things that I don't want you to miss that I did is I sought out wise counsel. I sought out the counsel of somebody who I was able to develop a certain level of trust with. And I looked and said, you know what? She's further along in her journey than I am. And she is walking in a space, and I think that her counsel can be able to help me to be able to navigate through a roadblock. And at that time, I was not in therapy, so all I could do is look around and figure out what type of wise counsel I could seek out. And I sought out somebody who, again, was a single mom who could talk through some of the issues and understand what I was going through. And so later on, having a therapist became very instrumental with me helping to be able to navigate through some of these issues, because truth be told, you can only go to your friends for so much, but at some point you need a trained professional to help walk along that journey with you and not feel shame that you can't figure it out on your own. Because sometimes we stay stuck because we feel shame because we think that we should be able to have all the answers. But what did Kanye say? You ain't got all the answers, Sway. You don't have the answers, Sway. Like, yo, we don't have all the answers. And so sometimes we have to go, a lot of times we need to go to somebody who can help us walk through the things. This doesn't mean that we don't trust God. Stay in the word, right? But God allowed us to have wise counsel for a reason. And so seek wise counsel to be able to help you to navigate through these things and help God and ask God to help you heal. But the other thing that I want you to get, that we have to make that decision to change. See, when I was talking to my friend, I wanted to change, but I had not made the decision to change, which was why when she came up with all of these ways to help me to be able to shower and not stink, I rejected all of them. Because there was a part of me that was still unwilling to change because I had not decided that I wanted to live healed. Because that unhealed part was that crutch, right? Because I don't know if you've ever felt that, like, be afraid to heal because, like, well, let me give you this example. Kind of like I don't know if you've ever been afraid to forgive somebody or not wanted to forgive somebody, because it almost makes it seem like the offense or the pain never happened. And so for me, I was afraid to live healed because, number one, I didn't think that I deserved to live healed. But it felt like I would minimize the pain and the trauma that I endured, right? But that's not who I am. We're not meant to carry that. Jesus tells us to cast our pain and our concerns and our cares at his feet, because he is Lord and he will take that pain for us because his yoke is light, right? Some of us are carrying around a heavy yoke that we're not meant to carry. And so we have to make a decision to be able to heal. And when you make that decision to heal, then you can make a plan. And so for me, what it looked like is I couldn't go from only showering when I stunk to being able to shower every day and like walk in this whole newness of being clean. No, it didn't look like that. I started to say, you know what? Let me shower once a week. Let me shower twice a week. Right? Actually, I think I went to twice a week because I might have been showering once a week. So let me go to showering twice a week. And there were some days where I didn't shower twice a week. I said, let me wash clothes, right? Let me wear something other than these stinky sweatpants that are now stretched out because I wore them without washing them forever, right? Let me stop wearing this sweatshirt that stinks. And let me put on different clothes. Maybe once a week. And so it started off something small, right? I had to make a plan ahead of time for how often I was going to shower, what days realistically I could shower, and what times I could shower, and giving myself grace if I didn't stick to it, knowing that what I was doing was deciding to go on a process to live new. And so I had to be willing to change. I had to be willing to let that hurt go. I had to be willing to forgive. I had to repent and ask the Lord to forgive me for wanting to carry this burden of hurt and pain for so long. I had to forgive myself for, choosing the wrong guy, ignoring the red flags, and allowing him to have so much power over me for so long. I had to forgive myself. And I had to decide that I deserved better. My kids deserve better. My kids deserved a whole me. And I had to be willing to change, and that was hard. It was hard. Because when you hold on to hurt for so long, it's hard. It's like holding on, walking with a crutch for so long. When you walk with a crutch, if you've ever hurt yourself, I remember one time I sprained my ankle and I was on crutches. And so walking without a crutch, learning how to put weight on that ankle that you've been supporting or lifting up for so long, it hurts initially. But I had to be willing to work through the hurt and to put more weight on that ankle, put more weight on my body, put more weight on, me, in order to be able to get strong enough to be able to walk healed. And then the thing is, start small. I didn't jump right in, like I said, to showering every day. It didn't happen. It took a while for me to get to that point where I could shower every day, because I had to reprogram my mind, anchoring myself in God's word, recognizing truth from lies, and deciding that no one gets to have that much power over me and define who I am. And that took years. That took years of therapy. It probably took me a couple of years to get to the point where I would shower every day. But it was a process. And so if you're going through that part, if you're going through a painful time in your life, then don't be afraid to live healed. Don't be afraid of the process. Give yourself grace. And know that there are going to be times where you backslide. There's going to be times where you revert back. There's going to be times where you're being challenged. Because like building muscle, you have to take on more weight in order to get stronger. And just like when we're deciding to live healed, we have to take on more responsibility, do more things in order for us to truly develop the strength and the endurance to live healed. But we can't do that in our own strength. We have to do it with God. And literally, it was nothing but the grace of God to be able to heal my heart. First of all, expose the lie that I was believing, but then do the work to heal my heart that allowed me to be able to live new. So that replenishing and that refreshing that I was feeling on the inside began to be reflected on the outside as well. And so I definitely want to encourage you, when you're going through your single motherhood journey, it's not easy. And I think that a lot of people don't realize the type of trauma that exists when you first become a single mom, because you're literally what you thought was going to happen, how you thought you were going to become a mom, what you thought family was going to look like. It doesn't look like that. So you literally have to go through a healing process. You have to go through a trauma healing process. So especially if somebody said mean things to you, there is a process to heal, and we can't be afraid of that process. And we have to be able to walk new. Allow God to heal our heart. The sooner the better. Because that way you're not delaying your destiny. That way your children are looking at this example of brokenness and mimicking that in their own life. And so you have to be willing to do the work, even if it's hard, and stick to it. And have somebody, whether it's a trusted friend or a therapist, somebody to go, or somebody in a small group, but somebody to walk with you along this journey so you're not doing it alone. And so I want you to leave a comment. Let me know how this helped you. Definitely like, subscribe, share this with a friend, and let me know how this inspires you to live healed. No more fear of living healed. You are not broken. You will not be broken. You deserve to be healed and walk in the power of who God has created you to be. And so I definitely encourage you to pick up my book, Navigating the Impossible, a survival guide for single moms from pregnancy through the first year of motherhood, because in that I talk about my own pathway to healing, and I share a lot of different things between how to develop and walk in your relationship with God, as well as practical things to walk healed, guard your heart, heal your heart, and manage your finances, building that support system, and just walking out that single motherhood journey so that way you thrive. So definitely pick that up on Amazon or at navigatingtheimpossiblebook.com if you want a signed copy. The signed copy is over at navigatingtheimpossiblebook.com, or you can grab your copy on Amazon, Navigating the Impossible, a survival guide for single moms for pregnancy through their first year of motherhood. So yeah, talk to you soon. Bye.